It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Black Real Estate Dialogue podcast. I am very excited for this episode today. Here with me, I have Jeanine Smith out of Atlanta, Georgia. Jeanine, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Definitely, for sure. So to start off, could you just tell the audience a bit about who you are?
Absolutely. So my name is Jeanine Smith. I am the founder of Black Girls in Real Estate and also the founder of the B Mogul Group. I fix and flip and build homes here in the Atlanta market through my business, the B Mogul Group. And then through Black Girls in Real Estate, we are becoming the #1 community to educate, connect, and bring investment opportunities to Black women in real estate. So we have a little over 31,000 members in our Facebook group and a little over 12,000 on Instagram.
Wow, that's a pretty big audience.
Yes, it's growing.
Definitely. When did you start Black Girls in Real Estate?
So actually, we've only been in existence for about a year and 4 months now. So everything I've done has been organic. We've just naturally grown. Honestly, I don't even know how to run Facebook ads or any of that. So I just started the platform because I truly felt like there were other African American women that were in the space of fixing and flipping and might need, just a place and an opportunity to just connect and to learn about, what's going on in the economy, what's going on with our inventory, investment opportunities. And I was going to a lot of the local RIA groups, but I just wasn't really seeing people that looked like me. So I was like, okay, I'll just start this group and see what happens. And it originally was me and my mom. And then now it's just, exploded to about a little over, like I said, 31,000 women. So out of it, we do master classes, I have ebooks, coaching, and then it's a lot of like camaraderie between the women because it's not just women that build and fix and flip. We have agents, we have wholesalers, we have loan officers, we have people that want to get into real estate. So they use it as a place to start learning and, seeing what does that mean? What does real estate mean? Some people don't even understand or have a knack for what that is. So it gives everyone a place to just truly be themselves, but then also to connect. So it's been wonderful. I love it. It's been a game changer.
Definitely. Shout out to you. That's an amazing movement. And I looked on the
Thank
page.
you.
I'm like, wow, this is some really cool stuff. So shout out to you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome, definitely. So I would love to hear more about your childhood. What that was like, and specifically what you saw, or maybe what you didn't see, that ultimately shaped your view of what it means to build wealth.
That's a fantastic question. So I grew up in an area called Homewood Flossmoor, specifically more so in the Flossmoor area. And the wonderful thing about that is that it was a community that really highlighted and had just a huge population for like diversity. So my school at the time was like a 60-40 split. It was, 40% African American students, 60% white. So it was just a lot of diversity there. And I think that's, kind of what carried me into, who I am and what I look for. I saw a lot of Black wealth growing up, lots of entrepreneurs, doctors, businessmen and women. So, it's funny, I was just having this conversation with my aunt, and we were just talking about how, at that time, college was never something we thought about as an option. It was just like, you have to go. It was like, okay, if you don't go to college, what happened here? What was wrong? And that was the environment, I guess, that I just grew up in. And so that was what I focused on. Like, okay, I have to, go to college, get a great job. While I was in college, I worked for the Oprah Winfrey Show, which really started to kind of change my mindset and start really thinking about entrepreneurship, seeing what another, Black woman was able to accomplish, and just to be young and in that environment, it just really enriched me and made me believe kind of anything was possible. However, as an adult, I was like, okay, these entrepreneur dreams, this is not going to pay the bills. I need to go get a job. So I was working for Enterprise, like Step Brothers, had that joke like, I'm gonna just go to work at Enterprise and I'm just gonna become my own boss. That was what I wanted to do. And so I went there, and then I went to Farmers Insurance, and I went to
Mm,
Allstate, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll become a recruiter, and I was successful at that, but I was just never happy. And I felt like I was kind of dying, like dying inside, like all my
oh,
creativity, I didn't have an out for it. I was overweight, kind of miserable. And I went through just a really kind of bad breakup that pushed me into a mindset of entrepreneurship. And from there, I've just been running ever since with it. But it was just so many different shifts in, I guess, my background, where it's like,
mm,
okay, college, business, work for someone. No, I don't want to do any of that. I want to go be my own person. And that's basically what has been created.
got you. Very cool. So it seems like you had the opportunity to see a lot of Black success, entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
and so forth when you're growing up, which I think is great. It's very very powerful. But what I'm curious to know is like, what was it about like real estate? Because as you spoke, you didn't really mention a lot about real estate, I guess, growing up and as you transitioned
Hmm.
through your adolescence and such. So what was the spark that was like, you know what? I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship, and one part of that, I want that to be real estate. What was that moment for you?
Absolutely. So growing up, real estate was never even on my forefront. I never even thought about it. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Um, when it really started to become real, there was another really wealthy, affluent African American family in our neighborhood. And I was friends with their daughter, and they owned a dealership. And they were like, okay, how they got the funds to start it was through real estate. So they were fixing and flipping, took the money, and then, branched out and went into entrepreneurship. And in my mind, I was like, okay, well, that could be like a vessel or a vehicle. So I always thought about it. Well, basically, during the time I was working at Farmers Insurance, I had bought a home. I had started to build equity in it. I was house hacking. I was a single mom. And I was like, okay, I need more money. So how do I do this? Because I work so much. I'm commuting 4 hours a day. Like, how do I even make something like this work? So I started watching and listening to Bigger Pockets, and they were talking about, okay, the burn method, right? And I'm like, oh, well, do I really want to live with people? And I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can get. Okay. At the time, my mortgage was $777. I took in two roommates and I charged them $700. So now my extra money, I had money in my pocket to kind of live my life. And I aggressively started paying down my mortgage. Well, that helped because, the market boomed and I had $50,000 worth of equity in my home.
Are you looking for a community of like-minded individuals and access to experts in real estate?
Yeah,
Are you interested in real estate but need more support and guidance?
you know who it is.
The Black Real Estate Dialogue presents the Real Estate Investing Community. No matter how much or how little real estate experience you have, we've created a community for you because your perspective is important. Alright, tell me, where's the number one place where you can do Q&A with experienced guest speakers 2 times per month? How about unlimited access to past guest speakers' recordings? What about a private Slack channel to engage in daily discussion with everybody in the community to share resources and support each other? Head on over to blackrealestatedialogue.com. That's blackrealestatedialogue.com. It's the real estate investing community presented by the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Come join us today.
Here with me, I have Stephanie Assi. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking the time to join the show today. So a lot of people, they are afraid to get started. Like maybe they have the money and this, that, and the other. A lot of people want to dot every I, cross every T before you get started. But I think we're just at the beginning of the story. I think your first example is a testament to at some point you just got to take action, right?
Mhm,
You got into the property, you purchased a duplex, your first instinct, you're in a college town, student housing.
mhm,
You stuck with it for a couple of years, didn't work out as you thought it would. However, at that point, you had a choice. You could have either thrown the towel, said, forget this real estate stuff, but as you mentioned, you took the proceeds and you tried a different strategy. You tried something different.
mhm,
So that's something I don't want people to gloss over because it's very important. It may not always work out with the first property or what problems will happen, but it's like there's different ways to go about it. There's different types of real estate you can get into.
Yeah, and the good thing is like that's the kind of mistake. So if I want to make a mistake in something, I'd rather do it soon and learn, and it's a cheaper mistake than that could have turned really badly if it was like a quadplex, or if I just jumped into getting like a huge multifamily. But because it was a smaller scale investment, even selling wasn't a hard decision to make, because
Hmm.
over the 3 years I've seen everything. I did, it helped cover some bills for me, so it wasn't completely bad. It's like, oh, I made whatever I wanted to make out of this. I've moved now, and at the time I was already living in DC, so I was managing myself remotely, which I learned not to do anymore. But on weekends, I'll drive 5 hours, go down there, like, oh, see what's going on. So it was taking a toll on me. Decided to buy closer to home. And Maryland has some great cities. It appreciates fast. I was like, you know what? Let me, instead of blowing up the the money, the profit, let me use that as the down payment on something else.
Very smart. So can you talk about that second property? So at that point, you had moved down
Yes.
to that area and you purchased over there.
So I did FHA, which required me to live in the home for a year. So it was great because, the down payment was low. And so I bought the property in Maryland, stayed there. And while I was living there, I was making some I wouldn't call renovation, additions. So it was a single family home with a partially finished basement. And around here, a lot of basements actually have an exit, a full walkout exit. So first instinct was, wait a minute, somebody could literally live down there. So I met a good handyman. We talked about it. I made sure it was legal, things like that. So we built up a kitchenette in the basement, and it was pretty spacious. It wasn't anything tight. It was about 1,500 square. It was a spacious space. It was already set up to have a bedroom, even though there wasn't like a wall. So we put a wall. We did a kitchenette, fixed up the walkout so it's properly lit. So coming from the front of the house, there's like a walkway to the backyard and then steps to go into the basement. So it was functional. And then I started putting that up for rent for $1,000 a month, everything included, like all the utilities, because nobody's gonna be paying their own bill. Everything is attached to the house.
Hmm.
So for $1,000, you get furnished, and it was furnished. You get furnished basement space. You have your privacy because you have your own entrance and exit. The door leading to the main house was locked all the time, so I wasn't going in. They weren't coming up. I was living upstairs, and just like that, it started. And then I was like, wait a minute, I can do this for all the rooms, because it's just myself at the time. It was just myself. My son was going back and forth between myself and his dad. So I was like, what am I doing with all those rooms? So I started renting out rooms of the house. I only left one room vacant for my son, and then rented out two rooms plus the basement. So my mortgage was fully paid for at that point, fully paid for. And one thing, it was hard for me because a lot of people from the outside just saw like, okay, are you, so you're a woman, you have all these roommates, are you not afraid something is gonna happen to you? Like, how do you even find those people? But I was running background check. I was using Zillow rental. They have like a platform, people can submit applications. So I was using that as a system to run background checks, make sure they pay a deposit, everything goes through there. So it was working. It was just the safety part. At some point I was like, you know what, maybe this is not quite what I want to do long term. But I did it for 2 years, no issues. My mortgage again was paid for. I saved a lot of money because $2,500 that was supposed to come out of my paycheck to cover my mortgage was now mine.
Hi everyone, Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Make sure to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, and to visit us at blackrealestatedialogue.com.